High school girls you see around the neighborhood. Just by looking at their stupid faces, you can tell that they're trashy girls that only know how to spread their legs for guys. They smell like semen from head to toe. They are the loneliest kind of scum among females. Salarymen you see around the train stations. These guys are so despicable. They try their hardest to suck it up to their bosses, and they don't realize how much they sweat over it. They let themselves stink to high heaven. They are the lowliest kind of scum in society. Then there's this exclusive news story. In the city, there's a guy who oddly reeks of blood on the loose. He allegedly raped 5 women and then murdered them. The fugitive name is Ono Kiyoshi. This is the lowliest scumbag in all of humanity. Every single one of them are pieces of trash. People who have their kind of sense don't have much to live for. Murai Masahiko is a 16-year-old student with a streak for being a weirdo and a proclivity for smelling all things rank and rancid. A social outcast at school and a victim of relentless bullying, Masahiko scrapes by being almost content in life because though he too may be a loser and scum, he's not the biggest scumbag loser. And they don't have much to live for. You know who is, though? Yamada. A boy in Masahiko's very same class. Sure, he's unattractive, a pushover, and a socially awkward weirdo just like Masahiko himself, but there's just one thing that gives him that extra edge. His smell. Oh, dude, he stinks. Rotten eggs, well-worn socks, a toilet rug that's been used for years, a cleaning rag that's been crusted with dried milk. This guy's got it all, and our dirty boy Masahiko's got a little hard-on for Yamada's pure filth. Because of Yamada's putrid existence, Masahiko takes comfort in narrowly escaping the moniker of school's biggest scumbag loser on a daily basis. That is until one day, Yamada's acting different. He's moving different. To the shock and awe of all, Yamada's got a girlfriend. No one can believe it. She's hot. Masahiko is deeply disturbed by this. The biggest zero just back to 10. And if my calculations are correct, 1975. That makes him at least greater than 0. Masahiko can't simply scrape by anymore. He's got to make a play, and fast. Ah, yes, the fake girlfriend, full court press. Haven't seen her play this ambitious since the remarkable Bixby League Underwater Rugby Showdown Championship of 04. She's a hot babe, she's smart, she smells really good, and she looks like a popular girl from their school who moved away during the 6th grade, but pay that no mind. Desperate to trounce each other in the spot for not most scumbaggiest, Masahiko and Yamada try calling each other's bluff by betting who could show definitive proof of their waifus first. A day later, Masahiko comes out the victor almost immediately when his childhood crush turned girlfriend shows up to school in all her 16-year-old glory. To celebrate the reunion, they go on an after-school date to a local cafe where Masahiko wastes no time popping the important question, you dog. Who are you? The alleged Mizusawa Haruka insists that she's the same girl that moved away in the 6th grade, but Masahiko sees past her ruse. He's smarter than that. He knows the fake girlfriend forecourt press, after all. Haruka persists with even more lies until Masahiko drops a very important fact. The photos he made of his fake long-distance girlfriend Mizusawa Haruka were just that. Fake. So why does the Mizusawa Haruka right in front of him look verbatim like the photos? Especially when you consider the fact that the real Mizusawa Haruka never moved away in middle school. The real Mizusawa Haruka died 5 years ago. And Masahiko is the only one who knows how she died, and who killed her. After blowing the imposter's lie to fucking pieces with facts, Masahiko uses his leverage to demand what every self-respecting man would do in his shoes. A girlfriend, duh. The dude's simply just not above dating a dead kid impersonator if it means he doesn't have to become the biggest scumbag loser. And they don't have much to live for. She accepts and starts abusing him pretty much immediately. And then we learn that fake Mizusawa Haruka might not even be human. Despite witnessing the red flag of all flags, Masahiko doesn't even doubt his play until he notices the impersonator smells nothing like the scent he remembered from his childhood crush. In spite of that, they continue down the course of their faux relationship and things are going well. Masahiko is just popular now because his girlfriend's hot, which is maybe just how things work in Japan. I don't know. I never watched The Last Samurai or whatever. One night, Masahiko gets a call from none other than Yamada himself, who out of spite for his loss to Masahiko proceeds to give our dirt boy definitive proof that his girlfriend is real by having sex with her whilst on the phone. Yet another fantastic move last seen in the remarkable Bixby League Underwater Rugby Showdown Championship of 04. Masahiko calls him crazy, but nonetheless listens to the maybe too graphic sound of them enjoying each other's company. Masahiko gets a little too into it and starts, he just absolutely starts working things heat up, and before I can get demonetized, Yamada's session is cut short by his blood-curdling scream, followed by the uttered words, "Thank you for the meal." The line is cut. Disconcertingly off-put, but even more so confused, Masahiko attends school the next day wherein he makes a remarkable discovery. Yamada looks great. His clothes and hair are actually clean. His f***ed-ass teeth are in beautiful condition. He has a sunny disposition. And most importantly, he doesn't smell like shit. God bless Pusha so good and change that boy whole life. Haruka seems to agree. After school, Haruka makes a proposition to dirtbag Masahiko as she knows that he's obsessed with avoiding becoming the biggest scumbag loser. She also knows that he documents the many scumbag losers he comes across as a regular hobby, so she wants him to introduce her to a scumbag loser in their city by next Wednesday, 5 days from then. And they have to be one of the biggest scumbags.
And they don't have much to live for.
Back at home, Masahiko replays the strange events occurring in his life for the past few days and surmises whatever happened to Yamada may have something to do with his hot girlfriend. So he devises a plan to introduce Haruka to the biggest scumbag he knows, the murderer that was reported on the news at the beginning of the story. 2 days later, Scumbag Boy sets out to hunt him a serial rapist for his fake girlfriend. You guys still following along? Astonishingly, by memorizing the killer's scent from when he had bumped into him once before, Masahiko finds the fugitive murderer relatively quickly. That is, of course, before he gets punched, stripped, and robbed after following a wanted murderer around with absolutely no plan whatsoever, only escaping with his life by claiming to be a big fan of the fugitive, in which the guy actually did just let him go. Time for a new plan. Step 1. Make account on dating sites posing as Haruka, saying she'd go on a date with anyone for 20,000 yen, or around 150 bucks. Step 2. Find a guy who's willing to pay money to date a high school girl. Guaranteed scumbag loser. Step 3. Found a guy to meet up with. Great. He's wearing a black hat, plaid shirt, and beige pants. You know, I usually leave a review at the end, but this next sequence of events is so fucking dumb, I cannot glaze over it. Spoiler alert, the killer is the one they caught on the dating site. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be like a dramatic irony, but am I supposed to believe that it has never occurred to Masahiko that the guy who describes himself as wearing a black hat, plaid shirt, and beige pants, as well as having around $150 cash, might be the same guy that robbed Masahiko when he had a black hat, plaid shirt, beige pants, as well as having around $150 cash? Just me? Huh. Haruka takes to it though and successfully meets the scumbag thanks to Masahiko's plan. The next day, a proud Masahiko catches the news. A bloody, brutal murder in the city last night. The only evidence left at the terrible crime scene are the victim's clothes. A black hat, a plaid shirt, and oh my god! Masahiko is distraught as he's just realized that he's condemned whoever he sent on a meetup with Haruka to death. But his dumbass still doesn't even know who the man is until Haruka just straight up tosses Masahiko's previously worn shirt on his lap, soaked in blood, free of charge. And it's only then that he realizes that it's indeed the serial killer he met that was just killed. Shine on, you smart boy. Shine on. Another dumb plot hole is when Haruka seemed disappointed at the mention of the news about the crime as she thought she collected all the evidence from the scene. Which doesn't even make sense, because what evidence did you even collect? The killer's proof of insurance? You left his entire fit at the scene! Which leaves another hole. How did the police find and collect the killer's shirt, but Haruka seemingly just threw the very same shirt onto Masahiko's lap? Feels like a few pages could be missing from this chapter, but no, that's just literally just how it is. Anyway. Before Masahiko can even react to his fake girlfriend being a brutal murderer, Haruka threatens to literally just fucking eat him if he fails to bring her another scumbag loser sacrifice by next Wednesday. Someone who is truly a scumbag and truly a loser. I guess she crosses a line and rape and murder. Who knows? Haruka seals the threat by cursing Masahiko with terrifying hallucinations of brainworms. Ooh. How the fuck did she do that? How'd she do that? Can she do that? They can do that? Okay. An entire 5 days pass and Masahiko hasn't even began to figure out who to offer up as a sacrifice. I know it's like morally reprehensible or whatever, but bro's got no sense of urgency. Holy shit. He'd fit right in working on a Mega Retnuh video. In class, Masahiko shares a brief interaction with Sato Chihaya, the school's resident female scumbag loser due to her inability to follow popular trends. Haruka immediately takes notice and deems her worthy for death. A normal high school girl is behind on the times, or actual Ted Bundy. Masahiko is now assigned with the mission of luring this innocent girl to her death. Although he could still find someone else more worthy of being turned into a Banksy though. But fate pops off, as it usually does, and he ends up chatting it up with the friendly Chihaya anyway when she asks him a question she probably shouldn't have.
That Mizusawa-san is a different person, right?
You see, Chihaya may be a scumbag loser just like Masahiko, but that's not where the similarities end. She too has an innate ability to acknowledge scents and odors otherwise undetectable to the naked nose. Small world. Just like any other overworked and societally conditioned Japanese mother, Chihaya's mom hated her proclivity to always fucking smelling people. Just stop. Dude, stop doing that! And just like Masahiko, there was no one she smelled more than the lovely Mizusawa when they were elementary schoolers. Now that Mizusawa's back, it's just not the same. People just have innate smells that never leave them no matter what.
I just worked up a little sweat at the gym. Smell bad?
This is Common Smellology 101, in case you weren't uneducated. After learning that they're both freaks, Masahiko and Chihaya hit it off pretty well and end up talking for the rest of the day, leaving Masahiko apprehensive about Chihaya's suspicion about his demon girlfriend, for she would certainly be slimed instantly if she found out about the gruesome horror that is Mizusawa Haruka, killing Masahiko's plan to find a viable substitute. Oop, too late. I'm sliming her instantly. Since Masahiko's social life is actually not miserable when Mizusawa is pleased, and well, she'll just genuinely eat him if he disobeys her, Masahiko follows his beloved's orders and leaves a voice message to Chihaya asking that she meet up with him after school. And if you've ever witnessed the remarkable Bixby League Underwater Rugby Showdown Championship of 04, you know that they are about to employ the invite innocent loser girl to class after school to chill but actually not show up and offer her to a murderous demon gambit in real time. You know, these kids really know their stuff, man. I mean, it's really great to see my culture, like, you know, preserved in such, like, crazy times. The following scene we see is an honestly brilliantly pathetic yet despairing line of events where Masahiko desperately clings to his senses as he stays home from school, hoping that Chihaya would just maybe not come to meet him for class later in the day. After he sees a missed call from her, though, he gathers himself and rushes to the classroom under a raging monsoon to find out that, oh, she's okay. The supposed Chihaya in front of him was clearly yet another twisted fake, as he had the same odd sin as Mizusawa and Yamada. Intent to save the real Chihaya, Masahiko attempts to barge into the room at Mizusawa's behest as... it's not over yet. Masahiko stands in the doorway paralyzed with fear and raw inhibition. He can do nothing but ponder what is going on the other side of that door frame. He then hears Chihaya's voice. Masahiko can do nothing but bawl as the sounds of masticating echo into the hall. That's tough, gangy. But you still have to do your best this Wednesday. That same night, Masahiko goes up to his room and has him a little gamer moment. Things just simply do not get better when the next day, just like Yamada, Masahiko's unsuspecting classmates are awed at the sight of a completely changed loser student in the form of a new Chihaya, now with more skin and less eyebrows. Everyone is pretty pleased with Chihaya's change of character. Masahiko isn't. He calls Yamada's mom for validation, in which she admits that scumbag loser Yamada has completely done a 180 overnight, but Yamada's mom is pretty pleased with his change of character. Masahiko isn't. Dejected, he ends his day going home to his loving father, who passionately greets his son using his favorite love language, physical touch. His dad's bitching about not having enough to eat thanks to his son or whatever, but Masahiko, who maybe didn't quite have the best week, loses his temper and curses his father for his crappy life, including recent events, of course. A fight ensues, and there's a bit of exposition that's backtracked on that I didn't mention earlier because, imagery, but basically Masahiko's dad, who is pretty much one hell of a dirty bastard, drove his mother to participating in... let's just call it low-stakes bungee jumping. But never mind that, the most important exposition is revealed when Masahiko says, "I know that you killed Mizusawa Haruka." All because a young Masahiko saw with his own two eyes the things that his wasted space of a father did to his classmate when they were children. It's not entirely clear what all crimes his dad committed, and I don't really want to know. This manga's dark, dude. Whilst being berated because he did nothing but watch as his father committed crimes against humanity when he was a child, Masahiko also just gets the bricks put on him by his dear old dad, who really might be the biggest scumbag loser. A beaten Masahiko then proceeds to... wait. His dear old dad, who really might be the biggest scumbag loser. And they have nothing to live for. Slime my dad immediately. The next Wednesday comes and Masahiko Murai has successfully prepared his sacrifice, Yasuhisa Murai, his dear old dad. He tells Mizusawa that he secretly drugged the food he cooked for his dad to knock him out so he wouldn't fight back so she could peacefully enjoy what she deemed to be her meal. What a gentleman. An hour passes and Masahiko checks on his lovely high school waifu who lay immobile on the floor. "What did you do?" she asks. "The pills weren't for sleeping, you idiot. They were for dying." Turns out Scumbag Boy thought on his feet and slowly drugged his father throughout the week by microdosing his home-cooked meals until he was comatose, surmising that his girlfriend was going to eat his dad when the time came, and he was right. Mizusawa hilariously shames him for going such treacherous lengths to get his get back, which is rich coming from the man-eating demon who ruthlessly preys on lonely, pathetic high school children. But yes, Masahiko poisoned his dad to murder his girlfriend. So in spite of the dying wish of his mother to never be a true scumbag loser like his dad was, fraught with despair, Masahiko accepts his label and, like any well-meaning sports star with CTE, takes a swing at his girlfriend's head. Wait, no, she's faking! Oh, shit! Damn! Oh, get her, Masahiko! Damn! Savoring Masahiko's expression of fear and torment, Mizusawa thanks her hubby for the meal. Itadakimasu!
Itadakimasu.
Is this goon but never gone for our scummy wummy baggy waggy loosey boy-y? I'm not telling. I'm not telling. Did you really click on this video just so I can rebog you? Is that all we are? It's always Manga Retnuh. It's never how's Retnuh. It's never where's Retnuh. But yeah, there actually is more Scumbag Loser, but I'll leave the rest to whomever may be so interested in reading this riveting tale. Let's unpack this thing here, all right? Scumbag Loser is a lot of things. To be concrete, it's a psychological horror mystery with bits of action in later chapters, which is usually how these stories evolve to keep the readers interested. It's very crude, it's very bleak, but god damn it, it's very entertaining. The mystery part of the series isn't really its strong suit. It's basically a body snatcher's plot, but it's like obvious to absolutely everyone whose body has been snatched. And it ain't Masahiko's. But it's without a doubt that the mainstay of the series is that the hero is a fucking loser. A scumbag loser. And they don't have much. It's an interesting enough depiction of an anti-hero, one of questionable morals and an undeniable lack of charm, but it's never quite enough to make you want to cheer for him. I think any underdog in a story needs to be of two qualities. One you want to root for, one you want to respect. The former is easy enough. The antagonist to the story just needs to be in the way of something the reader wants to see happen. But as for the respect, it's a little shaky. You don't have to like the protag, but you gotta find their actions somewhat admirable. That's a little difficult when the main character's favorite hobby is sniffing the underoos of a deceased 11-year-old girl. I hear myself say that, I wonder why I'm making this video. Masahiko, however appalling he may be, is definitely an interesting spin on an otherwise mundane story concept. A great evil has descended unto us unsuspecting humans, and the only one able to save us is a teenage boy who spends his day jerking off the crude smells, obsessing over shitty people, and anything else someone with no life does, besides showering, of course. A theme standing out to me is a pseudo-philosophical question of whether it's morally reprehensible to change shitty, unproductive individuals in society into personable, stand-up people of admirable quality, even if that means technically murdering their former selves. The obvious answer is, well, no. There are clearly alternatives to just sliming someone to make them better themselves. But it does make you wonder how many people wouldn't mind that option if it were someone that was objectively making their lives worse. I think the manga has a very optimistic estimate on how many people would just be cool with it, but I don't doubt that there are really just some people out there who would trade a friend or even a loved one for someone better, despite killing them in the process. But ain't me, bruh. It's just fucking weird. Unless it's like, I don't know, maybe that one annoying coworker we all seem to have. I also think that it's funny that this is definitely one of those works where the author's fetishes are just kind of thinly veiled in their writing. Hopefully just not the super questionable stuff. What I didn't include in the recap is the arbitrary homoerotic delusions that Masahiko falls into seemingly at like random. Like when he imagines himself getting forced to lick Yamada's rancid foot, or when he gets robbed by the killer, he daydreams getting forced to warm his willy. I'll just give the author the benefit of the doubt that they were just trying to overly include as much edgy, gross out shock value to the manga as possible for retention or whatever. Scumbag Loser was penned and painted by Yamaguchi Makoto, which I frankly don't really know. This is actually one of the only manga that Yamaguchi has written and illustrated, as he is mostly credited as a writer, having helped create works such as Dead Tube, Gun X Clover, Who Wants to Marry a Billionaire, and his most successful work, Tomodachi Game, accompanied by an anime, 2 live-action shows, and 2 movies. The only other artist credit I found for Yamaguchi is a series called Last Wish to the Shinigami, as well as a one-shot of the same name, which, despite being older, contains art that's not nearly as crude as Scumbag Loser, although not nearly as clean and professional either. On that same note, the art of Scumbag Loser is, well, I don't know what it is. I want to say it's a little ugly, but Yamaguchi definitely knows how to make manga that looks like manga, which is easier said than done. The panels are undeniably creepy and grotesque, which is perfect for this context, and there's definitely some memorable panels that drive home the psychologically terrifying experience that the characters are going through. Besides that, though, the drawings can oftentimes look sort of juvenile and crude. The anatomy's just so weird, especially Masahiko, obviously, and the hilarious proportions of the girls in the manga. It's almost like it's parodying what people think of when they imagine what a stereotypical manga would look like. For my own goddamn reputation, I cannot possibly recommend most people read this forgotten bastard child of Yamaguchi Makoto, but it's definitely got a splash of intrigue and charm in its own twisted, depraved little way. But is Masahiko wrong for enjoying putrid smells and rancid odors in his free time? I thought so in the past. Then I started doing bath salts. Cue the music.